This video is for my water daughter. I'm always kind of giving her lectures and telling her, do this and do that. And I actually talk to her a whole lot and I'm wearing her out. So I figured I'd make a video for her so that she can look at it whenever she wants and she doesn't have to be sitting on the phone with me and taking deep breaths saying, okay, daddy, I get it. Okay, I know. So anyways, Water, this video is for you and you can listen to it whenever you want, but I want you to know I'm super, super proud that you're actually embarking on a healthier lifestyle and you decided to do a keto-ish diet. I'm super, super proud of you. So I text you a bunch of stuff this morning on what you can do to start, and I know a little bit it is overwhelming because I have a tendency to talk for a long time, and my text sometimes get garbled up the words. So um, one of the first things I want you to know is by doing a ketogenic diet, you're telling your brain that, and you're telling your body that you're moving from a sugar burner to a fat burner. That's the biggest thing. So a lot of us, the reason why the ketogenic diet is so successful is because people have a tendency to constantly burn sugar. So the fats that they are already stored, their body never gets a chance to really burn the fat because we keep feeding ourselves all the time that we never actually get a chance to burn the fat. So if you're burning sugar, you're not burning fat. So you want to make sure that you're a fat burner, not a sugar burner. So the ketogenic diet helps us make it, make that transition. But the problem is, it's hard for our bodies to move from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. And one of the reasons why it's hard is because we've been conditioned in society that we have to eat every 4 or 5 hours. Um, that's not really the way to be. Our bodies aren't designed to eat every 4 or 5 hours, especially the types of foods that we're eating. And most of us are eating more than every 4 to 5 hours. The only time we're not eating every 4 to 5 hours is when we're sleeping for 8 hours. So uh, most of the time, a typical American diet looks like we wake up in the morning and we grab what we consider healthy. We'll grab yogurt and granola, or we get an apple and an orange, and we eat that. Drink some orange juice for breakfast, and we feel like, hey, we're eating a healthy breakfast. And then we get a midday snack, which might be an apple and peanut butter, um, and then, for lunchtime, we may end up grabbing a salad, maybe have a fruit, eat a Coke. Some of us are really bad. We eat burger and fries. And then for dinner, we come home and we eat uh, rice and some form of a meat. And all that's good, but what happens is it's never giving our body a chance to convert over to burning the actual fat. So we get frustrated and we say, how come I'm not burning any fat? How come I'm not losing any weight? Or you lost 5 pounds and you gain it back up. You're not losing 5 pounds of fat. You're most likely losing 5 pounds of water. So when you're dealing with macros, different macros hold water differently. So it's not the weight you're losing. So what you're going to do by embarking on this sort of a high fat diet, moderate protein, is you're conditioning your body to start burning fat. And you do this in a way by by starving yourself and letting your body go into a ketosis state. And when you don't, the moment you stop eating, your blood sugar first starts to rise. Then after about 2 hours, it starts to fall. 1 to 2 hours, it starts to fall and it goes lower. If you continue not to eat for, let's say, 12 hours, your body gets into a state where your blood sugar is so low that it says, hey, listen, we need to start making some ketones so we can utilize this fat. And then that's what it does. It starts taking some of your fat that you have stored for energy. But again, like I said, most of us never give our bodies that chance. Most of us don't go 12 hours. Then you continue to go past 12 hours and your body starts to make more ketones. But initially, when you first start this diet, it takes a while. Your brain is accustomed to functioning off of sugar. So when you don't have sugar, you start kind of getting lethargic and you start kind of talking slower. You can't think as well. And it's not a good feeling. Some people have an extreme reaction, and they call it the keto flu, where your brain really wants the sugar and it starts signaling things to your body and it starts, you start mimicking symptoms as though you have the flu. I remember Christina, she had headaches, and her headaches were really bad. One of the guys I listened to on the podcast, Tom Bilyeu, he was really bad. He said it's the worst, and then he just said, I've heard everyone say that. I didn't really have that big of a transition. I run 3 miles a day and I push myself. And what I noticed is I just don't have the energy. So, um, and that further, me running 3 miles a day and exercising the way that I exercise tells my body, hey, listen, I need energy. And this guy, my body is used to burning energy and burning sugar, and it doesn't have any energy to burn. So it's trying to go into ketosis, and I'm actually working off on in a fasted state. So that's what I've noticed. So like right now, I'm coming off of a 14-hour fast, and I just got through running 6 miles. And I'm telling you, Water, this was a very, very hard 6 miles. Yesterday I did a 24-hour fast, as I was telling you, and then all I had was a cheese tuna sandwich with no bread. It was just cheese as the bread. And so I ate one meal a day. I had two of them actually, and that was it. So I probably ate under 1,000 calories all day, and I was incredibly just tired. So I was dreading the 6 miles because I ran 5 miles on prior to that, and it was a hard 5 miles because I'm not taking in very many calories, and I fasted for 20 hours that day, and then I fasted for 24 hours yesterday, and it kicked my butt. But I can't stay into ketosis. I'm going to move in and out of ketosis, stay in ketosis for about 6 days a week, and then come out of it for 1 day a week. And I'll talk about that in another video. But it was hard, and my body says, hey, listen, we need energy. This guy has been fasting, his blood sugar level is low. So one thing that I talked about in an earlier video is I'm absolutely positive I have a fatty liver disease, and I'm seeing that sort of rectify. One of the ways that you see that is when I wake up in the morning time. I wake up at 3 o'clock every morning. So when I wake up in the morning time, my blood sugar level is now a lot lower. It's about 94. This morning it was a little bit high. And the reason why it's high is because around 3 o'clock in the morning, typically those who have a fatty liver, your body, when your sugar's low, so I think last night when I went to bed it was 88, and then I woke up, I told you it was 94. So around 3 o'clock in the morning, this is called the dawn effect. Your body doesn't have enough sugar, and those of us who have extreme fatty livers like myself, we start dumping sugar around dawn, which is at 3 o'clock, which is precisely when I wake up. And that's just everyone's body. And because my body has an abundance of sugar and fat in its liver, it just starts dumping all of it out. And that's a good thing, it's getting rid of it. So I'm not really tripping over the fact that my blood sugar readings are a little bit higher, because during the day, they're a lot lower. So a couple hours later, if I check at 5 or 6 o'clock now, it'll drop down to, in the 80s, and that's good, that's what we want. But we definitely want to reverse all the damage that I've done through the years and get my liver back to functioning normal. And I actually got some milk thistle. I was trying to find some milk thistle to help take care of my liver. So I've been doing a lot of research on liver cleanse and things like that, and I'm really motivated to do it because again, just having abused my liver for so many years with all the sugars, it's time to reverse it. I also told you the fact that I was dealing with high blood pressure, and I was actually on high blood pressure medication. Hated the idea that I was on medication because I just, I don't do any type of drugs. I just don't like it unless I absolutely have to. So at one point, my blood pressure, I went to the doctor, and the doctor says, listen, you're going to have to get on blood pressure medication. You're having heart palpitations, and I was having irregular heartbeats. And this is all during the time where I'm running 3 miles, 6 miles. I did a half marathon, and I'm having irregular heartbeats, heart palpitations, and it's like scaring the shit out of me. Like, what's going on with my heart? Am I having a heart attack? Am I dying? So you remember when I was going through all this stuff. I'm going to the emergency rooms, and I could be at rest, and all of a sudden my heart just starts going, and it freaks me out, and I'm getting 180 beats a minute, and it's irregular, and it's just really spooky stuff. And then my blood pressure, I'm going in the hospital, my blood pressure is super high, and it wasn't high before, but now it's high. So all this stuff was happening, and I never knew why, but like I said, I'm in my mid-40s and late 40s, and I'm not sure, and I'm working out like crazy, which is sort of exacerbating the problem. And I'm not sure why is my body going through all this? I'm healthy, I run 3 miles a day, what the hell is going on? Well, what was going on was I was abusing my body in every sense. I was abusing it by working out. Working out can be what they call a hermetic effect, where you do a little bit of put a little bit of stress on your body, and then your body overcomes that stress and gets stronger. But I am exercising at 240, 250 pounds I'm pushing myself. I'm lifting 400 or 500 pounds in a bench press, squatting, and just pushing myself, supersetting with everything. My body was getting wore out. Now, I wasn't taking care of it. I wasn't feeding it the right foods. I was just feeding it sugar, sugar, sugar. So then I would drink beer, and then my excuse was, hey, listen, I worked out a lot. I'm eating candy, Whoppers, licorice. I'm just pigging out. But I got a little bit of a six pack going on. I'm proud of it. I'm kind of showing it off, like, hey, listen, here I am, 48 years old, and I'm looking pretty good. But it's again, I'm feeding my body, so feeding myself the wrong food, and my body's not agreeing with it. But I'm not listening to my body. I'm listening to what the doctors say. I'm listening to what I grew up on, and this is all old, antiquated advice. So I start searching and say, okay, what's going to help me feel better? Damn, looking better. What's going to help me feel better? At age 50, what's going to take me to the next level where I'm not only looking good, but I'm actually feeling good. So that's why I sort of embarked on this ketogenic diet. Now, there have been some times where I've lost weight, and I think back and say, wow, you know what? I stopped eating at 5 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon, or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and didn't eat again until 7 o'clock. That's a 14, 15-hour fast. Wow, I remember I was doing that for years, and I kept my weight around 220, 230 pounds. God, I guess I was unintentionally intermittent fasting. And then I start remembering when I was taking in high protein and cutting out sugar, and I said, wow, I guess that's what I was doing the whole time. Around March, I went of this year. I did a no sugar diet, as you remember, and Jaden came down with. It wasn't diagnosed as COVID, but this was at the very beginning, where he had a high fever, an uncontrollable cough, and shortness of breath, and the doctors weren't testing for COVID yet. In fact, they didn't want us to come in because the hospitals were swamped with it, and Kaiser said they couldn't test for it. But Christina and I, Jaden was all up on us, and Christina and I didn't get sick, but we were doing the virtually no sugar. We cut out the sugar out of our diet. And COVID can't live in sugar. It can't reproduce in sugar. It needs a sugary environment in order to live. And we had cut out sugar. And like I was telling you, why they don't tell people this? Why don't they tell you, hey, listen, cut the fucking sugar out your diet. Don't worry about the vaccine. Cut the sugar out. The virus can't, and most viruses can't replicate without a lot of sugar in the environment. Same thing with cancer cells. I mean, when people are diagnosed with cancer, what happens? They try to put them on a high fat protein ketogenic diet. If it's caught early, that's one of the first things they want to do. So it kind of tells you your body does well if it has low amounts of sugar. I told you a little bit earlier, Alzheimer's disease. They believe it's because it's. This is all new evidence that's been discovered in the past 7 to 10 years, 10 years. But they call it type 3 diabetes, and it's all sugar based. So it behooves you to lower your sugars and to watch the sugars that you're putting in your body. So having said that, I'm now going to tell you, here's what some of the things that you need to do. So to begin with, and I know this is going to be hard, sweetheart, you got to cut out all the processed sugar. You got to say no to the rice. You got to say no to the hot Cheetos, the chips, burritos, all the shit that you think that you should be eating, that you were accustomed to eating, the shit that your mom makes and she thinks is healthy. You got to throw all that shit out the window. It's not true. And don't take my word for it. Actually, just YouTube this shit, and you'll find doctors who have done studies, and they can cite studies and tell you, hey, go look at this study. And I actually have looked at those studies. Don't take daddy's word for it. Go look for it. And you'll start seeing, you have to seek this stuff out. You have to really want it. And when you seek it out, you're like, oh my God, all this shit is true. So you have to get rid of all that shit. Second of all, you have to find some foods that are high in fat and protein that you enjoy eating. Now, when you do a ketogenic diet, they tell you the same shit. They tell you avocados, and I hate avocados. I'm getting a little bit better with it, but Daddy doesn't like avocados. When is the last time have you known me to eat a fucking avocado? I don't like avocados. I don't like guacamole. If someone comes over and they got some guacamole dip, you could take that shit on. I don't like avocado I eat the hell out of it now because it's high in fat and it's high in antioxidants, and I know it's good for you, so I eat it now, and I can tolerate it now. I haven't developed a palate for it, but I deal with it. I told you when you first get up in the morning, have yourself a cup of tea, decaf tea. You don't really want to get hooked on the caffeine, but have a cup of decaf tea. Put a tablespoon or two of MCT oil in it. That's going to be pure fat. It's good fat. and that's anywhere between 17 and 34 grams, 1 to 2 tablespoons. Is going to be great for your body. That's how you start it off. What this MCT oil will do is MCT oil has something in that sort of suppresses the hunger cells. So these are the hormones that tells your body that you're hungry. It suppresses that. So your body doesn't sit there and say, I'm hungry. So then it'll allow you to last a little bit longer before you have to eat. So you may go another 3-4 hours without eating breakfast. Then when you eat breakfast, have some bacon, have some sausage, have some avocado, put some cheese on it. Boom, that's breakfast. Then your lunch might look like a salad. Again, throw some avocados on it. If you have sliced almonds, throw some sliced almonds on it. I do a lot of mixed nuts. Oh, by the way, I do want to tell you, I started this ketogenic diet about 3 weeks ago. This morning I weighed in at 244.4. So that's 16 pounds in 3 weeks. So and today's my third week, so that's doing really good. The first week I really wasn't moving. Now it's just like taking off, and I know a lot of it's water weight, but I can actually see it in my face. I can see it in my midsection area where I'm losing the weight. So you definitely will lose the weight. So what else? So another thing that you can do is lots of salmon. Salmon is high in fat. Chicken is good, but chicken's lower in fat. And remember, we've been taught that you want to eat chicken. That's what I've always thought. Okay, you want to eat chicken, but chicken, you want something higher in fat. So don't necessarily think you have to eat chicken. Go out and get yourself a steak. Eat another sausage, high in fat. You want the meats that are high in fat. And pork chops, you want the meats that are high in fat. Bacon, like I told you. But you're also getting lots of fiber from your broccoli, from your asparagus, from your salad. So you're putting all that stuff in there. You're just staying away from the fruit. Now, once your body gets into ketosis, like this, yesterday my mind wasn't deep into ketosis, but ketosis starts if you take it. I have a ketone blood reader, so I'll test you when you come over here. But ketosis starts at 0.5 on the blood reader, and that's what they call nutritional ketosis. And then when you get up to and that goes, I guess, all the way up to 1.5. That's really good. And that just means your body's producing ketones. You're a fat burner. You're now officially a fat burner. You're doing great. But the higher you go in ketosis, the more your body gets the benefits out of it, and the more fat it burns. So yesterday, I think mine was like 1.7. It was 1.7, and my blood sugar was 84. There's another word I want to talk about, not right now, but I'll talk about it later. It's called autophagy, autophagy, autophagy. I want you to remember that word because we'll talk about that later, okay? But and that's something where basically your cells start cleaning up within itself. It gets rid of all the debris, the dirt, the cells that are cancerous. They eat itself up. So that's something we'll talk about. But that happens after about 17 hours of fasting. So I'm trying to think, what was I saying before that? I'm not sure, but I'll go back and I'll talk just about all the foods that you're going to eat. So peanuts are going to be another a good source of meal for you. The peanuts, we talked about that. The bacon, cheese. I eat the cheese slices like crazy. I also eat pickles, little pickles, and I know that's high in sodium. Remember we talked about how the doctors have told us to stay away from salt. You got high blood pressure, you need to stay away from salt. But I'm eating bacon, I'm eating pork, I'm eating processed meats. I'm eating all the stuff that the doctors tells me to stay away from, and I'm drinking coffee. I'll have a scotch maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I have coffee every single day, yet my blood pressure is almost normal now. This morning when I checked it, it was 134 over 80. And I'm not taking any medication. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that, I'm listening to their advice, and their advice keeps me on medication, but I can actually get off the medication. It's been 3 weeks since I've touched a blood pressure medication, and my blood pressure is actually going down. But I've been working out before, but I was just eating like crap. I was eating to keep my blood pressure high. Now I'm eating and my blood pressure has dropped. My sugar has dropped. Are you computing what's happening here? I mean, I'm not talking shit. This is actually anecdotal. It's happened to me. Daddy had high blood pressure. You know that. My blood pressure has dropped. Today was the first day it actually hit normal. And it only took 3 weeks. But I watch. I mean, I take my blood pressure probably obsessively, like maybe at least 6 times a day. First thing in the morning and periodically throughout the day, and then before I go to bed. Because who wants to have a stroke? You know, that's one of the worst things that could happen. So I'm periodically taking my blood pressure, but my blood pressure is today hit normal, and I thought, oh my God. So I'm going to keep going. If something's bringing it down, if I'm taking a medication, if I'm taking a pill and it's bringing my blood pressure down, why the fuck would I stop taking it? You know, I why would I stop doing what I'm doing if it's helping? Well, for me, I didn't want to be on pills. Okay, I wanted to to change it on diet, and I had a suspicion that I could change it on diet, and that's what I did. So I want to keep going. Let me keep doing this for another 6 weeks, and see what happens to my body, and have it go down. Ariana, this is super, super important. No one's going to take, one thing you have to realize, you can't trust any doctor to take control of your health. You have to do it yourself. They can give you advice, they can give you direction, and they're smart, they go to school, and they're a wealth of knowledge, but you have to take control of your own life. You can't count on daddy to do it, you can't count on mommy to do it, you can't count on your brothers and sisters. You have to do it yourself. You have to take control over your own health. It's great if you have a partner, that your mom is doing it with you, and you want to tell your auntie, you want to tell your brother Justice, hey, but you ultimately have to be the one that's responsible. You can teach them by leading yourself. So by me telling you that, hey, listen, sweetheart, I was pre-diabetic. I've been pre-diabetic for 15 years. The doctor has told me, hey, you're borderline diabetic, but it never went to diabetes because I exercise so much. But had I stopped, I'd have been diabetic. But now my numbers are dropping just by changing my diet. I mean, that is right there is anecdotal. And my blood pressure. Now the question is, can I keep it down? So one last thing I want to talk about, and then I'll let you go because I know Daddy's winded and I'm all over the place because, like I said, I'm starving and my blood sugar is really low and my ketones haven't kicked in the way it should, so I'm all over the place. And I'm actually losing my train of thought a lot. But you have to, the sign of a healthy body is you don't want to stay in ketosis. And this is what I was telling you yesterday about Christina. Christina, she's feeling like, okay, when she does something, she goes all in and she just wants to stay in. That's not what you want. What you want is you want to be able to move from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, sugar burner to fat burner. But you want to spend most of your time in a fat burner and having your bodies produce those ketones. This is still very new to me. This is only my 3rd week. And I've got a lot of, I feel a lot better, but I still don't feel great. As you can see, I told you my mind, my thinking is all over the place. I don't have a good train of thought, and this has been happening for a while. So I want to make sure that and people profess to have this clarity once you fast and your body converts over to being a sugar burner. A fat burner. But I think because I have such a high fatty liver, it's switching back and forth. So today, I'm moving out of ketosis. I've been in ketosis for 3 weeks, steady. My blood sugar readings have constantly been over 5, all the way to 2 point something. So now I'm going to move out for one day. So for my breakfast, and you'll see, I'll just take some pictures. I'm going to have, I actually got to start making Christina's breakfast too before I get ready. But my breakfast is going to be some eggs and cheese with salsa, and then I'm going to have 2 waffles with whipped cream. It's going to be beautiful. My lunch is going to be a protein shake, a protein smoothie with bananas, cherries, pineapple, and blueberries. Fantastic. And then my lunch is going to be, and my dinner is going to be garlic bread, about 4 inches of garlic bread, and a small heaping of angel hair pasta covered with butter and shrimp. That's going to kick me out of ketosis. At least I hope it does. That's the intent, is to kick myself out of ketosis. And then starting on Monday, I go back to the high fat, and I put my body back in ketosis. So I fasted so far about 14 hours a day. It's not a long fast, but I want to make sure I fast every day, so I'm not just giving my body. I ran 6 miles. It was a hard 6 miles. Daddy, I was sort of reluctant, and I told you earlier that it was just hard because the 5 miles yesterday, it kicked my butt. I don't know if my body's fighting something or just I have no energy. This 5 miles kicked my butt. I ran it embarrassingly slow. And then, so why would I look forward to the next day running 6 miles and not having any energy and only eating 1 time a day, coming off a 24-hour fast? I wasn't, and I was kind of having a little bit of anxiety about it, and just say, ah, fuck, I don't want to do this shit. But you know, like I said, if nothing else, I got so much fucking determination and willpower. So when I'm out there and I'm running, and when I get tired, I'm listening to that girl, what's her name, Andra something, where it's called Rise Up. I did my first 3 miles, and I rise up. Anyways, I was running and listening to that song over and over, and it just pumped me, and I thought about how I need to be an inspiration to you, and you know, you can't talk about something if you don't become it. And I want all of my kids, you know, you and AJ and Jaden and Janessa, I want you guys all to be able to look up to me. And I can't be some fat slob that just talks and doesn't spend time with you guys and doesn't give you guys anything back. And this is my way of giving back. I have to be that inspiration. You have to be able to come to me and draw some type of inspiration. That's what parents are for, to give advice, to show you the way, to light the path. And that's what I do. So when I get fucking tired and I don't feel like I can run and I can't do this, or I just want to sit on the couch, I want to surf the internet, or I want to turn on TV and no, fuck that. No, I got too many people dependent on me. Get up. I was telling Christina this morning, if nothing else, I am determination and willpower and grit. That is nothing else. That is me. I do not fucking stop. I do not quit. It's just not going to happen. I will get the fucking job done. And I've listened to a lot of David Goggins, and that's my mindset. I mean, it's just weird. I'm listening to this guy, although he's much more hardcore than I am. But I was telling Christine this morning, I would rather fucking die on the road, have a heart attack on the road, than have a heart attack sitting with a goddamn beer in my hand and a bonbon or eating sweets. No, I'd rather be dying on the road, running, working out, kicking ass, doing what I love, serving the homeless, doing something that I love. Or, you know, ideally you want to die with your family and friends around you in your bed. At an old age, die young at an old age. But if I have to go sooner, that's the way I want to die. I don't, you know, I'm gonna push myself, man. You know, and I'm not gonna say, oh, my heart's beating too fast, or oh, I mean, I push myself when I'm running out those 6 miles. I take the darkest, scariest routes. You know, I run through alleys where, you know, most people wouldn't want to go to, because, you know, if I have any inclination of fear, I'm going straight towards that motherfucker, man. You know, nothing's gonna make me afraid. So if I'm running down a dark alley, and this is at 4 o'clock in the morning, remember, and it's dark, and I say, I don't know what's down that alley, but I'm damn sure gonna find out, because if it makes me afraid, I'm tackling it, and that's my mindset. It's not like that all the time, but it's certainly my mindset when I get up. And you're the wind beneath that mindset. You give it life. You know, you give it breath. And, you know, you're my water daughter. And so I'm so glad that, you know, I know this is okay, daddy, all right, you know, yeah, I get it. But I want you to know I love you so much. And I'm so glad that you're doing this. And yeah, baby, keep it up. And I bet you wish I would have texted you now. But I'll talk to you in a little bit later. But I do want to talk about autophagy and fasting later. So we'll talk about that in the next video. But you better like the video. That way I know you read it. I mean, you listen to it. If you don't listen to it, girl, I'm gonna tie you up in a chair and I'm gonna lecture you for hours. So you better listen to this video, and then you better like it. That way I know you listened all the way. Now I put that at the end, so if you don't like it, because I know you don't like stuff. So if you don't like it, but you didn't like it. If you don't like it, then I know you didn't listen, and then I'm gonna come get you. Love you, water.